Okay, this is higher tier only, so welcome to this video, those of you who are going to do higher tier, or those of you who are just interested. This is the one thing that you need to know about that isn't covered in any of the other lessons, and that is the mole. Molly, molly, mole. Okay, so what is a mole? Obviously, we all know our little biology mole, which is this little dude here. He's black, he sort of burrows underground, but that isn't what it is in chemistry. Just like lime in chemistry is calcium carbonate, we can't drink that. The mole in chemistry is something different. So when we start thinking about our atoms, okay, we can count our atoms. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And we want to count out, say, well, carbon has got a mass of 12. So let's say 12 grams of carbon, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 6.02 times 10 to the 23. 6.02001 times 10 to the 23. 6.02 times 10. No. You know what? The mole is... You know how we define MR as being the mass of an atom compared to 1/12 of the mass of carbon-12? You need that definition. We define a mole as being the amount of atoms that are in 12 grams of carbon-12. Now, luckily for you, you don't have to count them. You just have to know the number. So we're going to copy down the definition here. Come on, let's go. Right, so a mole in chemistry is the number of atoms in 12 grams of carbon 12, and this is 6.02, and there's a few numbers after it, but you don't have to worry about those. 6.02 times 10 to the 23. That's huge. If we were to write it out not in standard form, okay, it would be 60200. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. A second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's, yeah. Let's turn that into a 0 and turn that into a 2, just so all my zeros are nicely lined up. That is it written out. Okay, that is a huge number, isn't it? Aren't you glad I didn't make you count all those atoms? Because, you know, you lose count, it's not fun. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23 in standard form. Why do we need to know this? Well, quite frankly, at GCSE, you don't really need to do too much with this number. But thankfully, if you've been following along with my calculations, the next bit isn't too difficult, because we know our lovely triangle okay, and so you just think of it as here's little Mr. Mole. Ooh, hello, I'm Mr. Mole. So little Mr. Mole, and he lives underground, okay? And he's got a molehill over him, okay? So he's got a mass over his head. That's his little molehill. Ooh. Okay, so you've got a mass over Mr. Mole, and that helps you remember this little triangle here. Okay? So, right, let's just take a look at me again. Okay, so we've got a mole as 2.03 times 10 to the 23 atoms. So a mole of hydrogen would be 1 gram of hydrogen, okay? because hydrogen has got a mass of 1, and that would be 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms of hydrogen. If you were to have a mole of titanium, we did that at 48, didn't we, the mass for that? So it would be 48 grams of titanium, and 48 grams of titanium would also have in 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms. We can do it for molecules. We can do it for water. Water has a molecular mass of 18. 18 grams of water has got in 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules. We can do this for animals. We could have a mole of moles. We would have 6.02 times 10 to the 23 moles, and the earth would tremble, quite literally, because they would be underneath all the ground and it would fall down. Okay, so we can have a mole of anything. Don't let the atom thing fool you. It can be a mole of anything. Now, we've been doing all our calculations, and I've been saying the word ratio, mole ratio. It's basically moles. So when we look at some of the equations that we've done, so if I turn back a page here, and we've got aluminium and chlorine makes aluminium chloride. We had 2 aluminiums, so we'd say 2 moles of aluminium instead of 2 lots. And 3 moles of chlorine make 2 moles of aluminium trichloride. Seriously, that's what it is. Instead of doing our ratio, so we did our titanium chloride as well. And I said, oh, it's the MR times this ratio, this mole ratio.